Hello and welcome to MacGyver's Grant Public Library's Story Time Tuesday. Today we are taking advantage of a beautiful spring day and we are going to do our story time from the garden. The book we're going to pick today is called Brave Little Finn, and it's a Sweet Pea and Friends book. And what I like about this book is it has a story to it, but it's all done with pictures instead of drawings. So we're going to get to see a whole lot of animals close up, real animals, what they really look like, and then we might find out a little something at the end of the book about these animals. This book is written by John and Jennifer Churchman. They are the authors, and I believe they also took the pictures of this book. And I want you to look one more time at sweet little Finn. Look at brave little Finn. What do you think he's going to have to be brave for? It says on the back, what happens when a very little lamb needs to be big and brave? What do you think would happen if a very little lamb needed to be big and brave? Do you think he can do it? Do you think you can do it? Can you be brave when you have to be? This book is published by Little Brown and Company. One cold winter morning, a shy little lamb was born. We'll call you Finn, said Farmer John. He held Finn close, keeping him warm inside his green barn jacket. Finn had been born early and wasn't as strong or as big as the other lambs. He shivered against the icy wind as they made their way up to the hill to the warm farmhouse. Farmer John whispered in his soft, fuzzy ear, "Be brave, little Finn. We're all here for you, always." And there is the farmer in his big, green, warm coat. And there is that little bitty baby lamb that was born just a little bit too early. So it's very, very small and very, very fragile. And look at that cold weather behind it. I like these pictures. Do you like them? Do you think that Finn will be brave? What do you think? Finn's big sister, Sweet Pea, visited him every day. Even when it was windy and cold, she would put on her favorite wool scarf and come up to the farmhouse to see how he was doing and tell him all of the barn news. Little Finn spent his days by the warm fireplace and made friends with the dogs and the new puppy. While living inside, he had to wear a diaper. Finn thought he might look silly, but all the dogs agreed that he looked quite nice. So there is his sister with her wool scarf coming up to tell him the gossip from the barn. Do you know what the word gossip means? Gossip means all the little news, all the little tidbits you would tell somebody. When you come home from school, you could say, "Mom, I want to tell you a story about school." You might be telling a little bit of gossip. There's another way that we talk about gossip. Gossip's kind of also when you talk about something and you're not really maybe being very nice. Maybe you're saying something and telling somebody's story that's really not a very nice story to share. So sometimes gossip has a bad connotation to it, a bad meaning to it. But this, when they're talking about the gossip from the barn, she's just telling him what's going on with all of his friends at the barn, that he doesn't live there yet because he's still too little. And there is little Finn with his diaper. What do you think about a lamb wearing a diaper? I would be very glad that my lamb was wearing a diaper if I had him in my house. What do you think? Would you like to have to clean up after one without a diaper? Farmer John fed little baby Finn from a baby bottle. Macy Grace, the border collie puppy, taught him how to drink from it. Can you imagine being so little you don't even know how to drink yet? So the little puppy helped Finn learn how to eat so he could get big and strong. And they fed him from a bottle just like a baby. And he wore a diaper just like a baby. And he lived in the house just like a baby. I like this book. On sunny days, he enjoyed curling up on a bed of hay in the greenhouse. As winter turned to spring, little Finn grew stronger. Look at Finn growing. I see the background still is blue, but it doesn't look cold and icy anymore, does it? It's starting to look like spring. I see green in the trees behind him. One morning, he was finally ready to go outside and meet the other lambs. Finn was feeling nervous. What if nobody liked him? "Be brave, little Finn," said Macy Grace. "I'll be here with you." There is Finn and his friend Macy. Macy taught him how to eat out of a bottle, and it looks like they live in the house together. I don't think Macy wears a diaper, though. Atticus, Meadow, and Hazel were excited. They could not wait to meet Finn and hear all about being raised in the farmhouse. They planned to show him the drinking pond first and then all around the pasture. Finn didn't need to be nervous, did he? All his friends and family were waiting for him, waiting to meet him and show him around. They were so excited he was finally coming home. First, the lamb stopped at the pond for a drink. Finn bent down for a sip of cool water, but was startled by a pair of bright green eyes looking back at him. What was that? There's Finn, getting a drink. Let's see what those eyes are. Oh, what is that in the water? Say it really loud. What is it? It's a frog, isn't it? Keeper the goose was floating nearby. Little Finn, she honked. Don't worry, that's just Pond Frog staying cool in the shade. He sings his beautiful songs for us each evening. There is the goose in the background floating on the pond. See how the water reflects because it's so quiet and still. And there's the frog staying cool before its concert in the evening. Next, Little Finn's new friends took him to the lilac bush. Hazel and Meadow loved the lilacs and munched, but Finn was unsure. He had never eaten anything purple before. What if they taste bad, he worried. A lot of new experiences for Finn outside. Do you think you would like to eat flowers? You know, you can eat some flowers. You should ask your mother, though, before you do, because some of them are good for you and some of them are not. And there's Finn trying to decide whether to eat the purple flowers. Let's see if he does. They're so sweet, said Meadow, her mouth full of purple flowers and green leaves. Please try some, Finn. They're a special springtime treat, said Hazel. He took just one tiny nibble. They were delicious. Finn likes some flowers. I think probably lambs eat different things than us. What do you think? I think so. The next morning, Little Finn felt something wet and cold on his wool coat. It was raining. He was scared. What should he do? Where should he go? He did not like being wet. Can you see Little Finn? Can you see the rain? The rain on all of those lush green ferns. They need a lot of rain and water, don't they? Puddle the duck was out early, splashing and flapping. Come and play with me in the fresh rain, she quacked happily. Finn headed out to play with her. He was surprised. Splashing in the rain was really fun. Have you ever splashed in the rain? There's Finn playing with Puddle the duck. Have you ever played in a puddle? Do you like doing that? I like playing in puddles sometimes. When summer came, the whirring and buzzing sounds in the air worried Little Finn. He carefully stepped through the garden flowers. The butterflies were beautiful, but the hummingbird had such a long and pointy beak, and he had heard that bees could sting. He saw his friend Atticus, who had stopped to nibble a rose. No need to be worried about the things that fly and buzz, Little Finn, said Atticus. They pollinate the plants, which help Farmer John grow the flowers, fruits, and vegetables. Finn looked up and smiled. And there's all the new things that Finn is looking at in the summer. Look at those wonderful pictures of the butterfly and the hummingbird. I see a bee. That kind of scares me a little bit. If I was Finn, I might be a little worried too. But you see Atticus? Atticus is just eating all of that wonderful food. And he said, don't worry. And look at Finn. It said he smiled. Does he look like he's smiling a little bit? It does kind of, doesn't it? They don't smile like we do. Come see the big round bale of hay, the lamb said excitedly. In the fall, we'll play Lamb on the Mountain to see who can climb to the top. There they all are in the summer. Look at all those flowers, and look, there's a dragonfly. All the lambs loved watching Macy Grace jump from one bale to the next. Oh my, worried Little Finn, I could never climb that high. But fall was still weeks away. He hoped he would be brave enough by then. And there is Macy Grace on those big hay bales. And look at them looking up at them. Oh my goodness. Do you think Finn will be brave in the fall? What do you think will happen? Let's find out. One morning, Little Finn looked out at the barn and noticed something new. A hat! The hat had not been there the night before. He quickly turned around and went back inside the barn and would not come out. Sweet Pea loved hats of all kinds. Wearing her favorite bonnet, she gently urged Little Finn to come out. Finn cautiously tried on the straw hat. This isn't so bad, he thought. He felt quite grown up. Do you like hats? Would you like to wear a hat? Sweet Pea, Sweet Pea looks pretty in her hat, doesn't she? But Finn, he looks like a little farmer lamb. Early the next day, while taking a morning walk with Laddie the sheepdog, little Finn noticed a large web, and then he saw a spider. Spiders are so scary, Finn whispered to Laddie. There's no need to fear Miss Spider, said Laddie. She's an artist weaving her web. Look how pretty it is. Little Finn studied the intricate web sparkling in the morning dew, and he was not so afraid anymore. Look at that beautiful web. Isn't it pretty? Look at all the dew. Can you see the dew? They look like little bitty lights all over the web. And can you see that spider in the middle? I'm glad that Finn has his friends to tell him not to be afraid and explain this big world to him. Aren't you? Finn peered into the darkness of the old barn and saw something else strange. Was that a monster hiding in there? He ran as fast as he could and bumped right into Sadie the pony. Oh, what is that? Do you think it's a monster? Oh no, I don't know. Is it a monster? It's not a monster, is it? What is it? Can y'all tell me what it is? Can you say really loud right now what it is? Let's find out. Sadie gave a soft neigh. Oh, little Finn, that's just old Ford the tractor. He's resting in the barn after a long summer of hard work. He pulls the wagon that holds all of our hay for the winter. Finn loved eating hay. Still, he stayed away from old Ford. Looks kind of scary back there in the shadows, doesn't it? But it's just the front of a tractor. I think Finn has a big imagination. One cool fall night, little Finn could not sleep. Soon it would be time to climb the big round bale of hay. He didn't feel ready. Even the sky looked scary. As the full moon rose high, Finn saw it get covered by a dark shadow. His knees started to quiver. Why is the moon getting dark? He whispered to Grandfather Snow, the wise old ram. That, my young Finn, is a lunar eclipse, said Grandfather Snow. You are a lucky lamb to be awake for this rare and wonderful sight. And there we have a picture of the sky. And look, it's nighttime, but the sky isn't black, is it? It's all different beautiful colors. And do you see the moon? Can you see the differences in the moon? What Finn saw? I don't feel lucky, said Finn. I'm afraid of everything. But what happens when you get scared? My friends are there to help me, said Finn. Grandfather Snow smiled and drifted off to sleep. And there's Grandfather Snow. And that, look, there's the moon again. I'm going to show you all those different phases of the moon. And there is little Finn. Or did I do it backwards? Yep, I did it backwards. That's Grandfather Snow. And that's little Finn. I think Finn's getting bigger, though. It's hard to tell, isn't it? Tomorrow was a big day. Finn was still nervous, but he knew he could try his best. He thought about all his friends, especially Macy, Grace, and Atticus, and how they would all be cheering him on. Finn felt just a little bit brave. It's easier to do something that's kind of scary when you've got people cheering you on. When morning arrived, everyone was very excited. Macy, Grace, Laddie, Siri, and Quinn had all come to watch. Hazel cried, "Everyone gets a turn!" All the lambs tried and tried, but no one could make it to the top. Little Finn tried too. "You can do it, Finn," called his friends. He took a deep breath and ran and leaped and dug in his hooves, and he made it all the way to the top of the big round bale of hay. There he is, and there's all of his friends cheering him on. "You are the brave and mighty little Finn," all of his friends cheered. Can you cheer for little Finn? Yay! He did so good. He tried his best, and he got to the top. That night, as he enjoyed his bedtime snack and lay down to sleep in the barn with his friends all around, little Finn remembered the promise Farmer John had whispered in his ear. "Be brave, little Finn. We are all here for you. Always." He felt very brave and loved because he knew it was true. His friends would be there for him, and he would be there for them too. Finn finally felt at home, didn't he? And he knew he might get scared again, but he knew that he could be brave. And so this says the true story of Finn. Twin lambs Finn and Hazel were born on a cold 20 below zero winter night. Their mother Blossom did not have enough milk for them, so they both were very weak. Hazel bounced back quickly with bottle feeding, but Finn continued to get weaker and needed around-the-clock care in the farmhouse. When Finn was just a week old, our veterinarian Allison Cornwall sat at the table in the kitchen with him on her lap to deliver the results of his exam. "It's going to take a miracle to bring this little guy through," she said. We were not going to give up on him, so we spent the next few weeks taking care of Finn in the farmhouse, bottle feeding him warm milk and changing his diapers. Neighbors and friends came to help and hold him. Despite our best efforts, he took a turn for the worst and lost the ability to drink from a bottle. John started intensive care feeding, and Jennifer worked with herbalists and the vet to find out ways to keep him healthy until he got strong enough to eat solid food. And then Finn bravely fought on, slowly growing stronger, and he was finally able to eat grass on his own in the yard, and we all breathed a sigh of relief. We had our miracle. Just as we've shown in this book, Finn was very shy and cautious when he joined the other lambs. He really was afraid of John's hat. We were so inspired by how the other animals helped him that we knew we had to tell his story. So here are some pictures. There is the real Finn with his diaper on, and there is the farmer. And look at all of his friends, people and animals, who stepped up to help Finn. I like that book. Did you like that book? I love that it is a true story. I love that it is told with pictures, photographs, and not drawing pictures. And I like that they went ahead and made the animals talk to each other, because I like to imagine what they might have really said to Finn. So I hope you've enjoyed this book. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope that the spring weather just makes your just have a wonderful week. And we will see you next week at Storytime Tuesday. Bye-bye.